Hi everyone, it's Bhavani with Mind Body Spirit once again speaking to our wonderful presenters who are hosting workshops with us at the end of May. This morning I am joined by the wonderful Fab who is going to be talking all about her workshop with us. Hello, thanks for taking the time.
Hello, lovely. Hello, everyone. Always happy to chat. Always happy to have a little talk about all good things, heart, purpose, and mind, body, spirit. So let's do
Yeah.
it.
Let's do it. I want everyone to know about the workshop that you're doing, a purpose-driven roadmap for 2023. People might be wondering, how come we're going to be doing that towards May, the end of May, and talking about this? But I actually think it's really helpful for people to be looking at that almost midway through the year. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because they might think, how come we're talking about planning the year?
That is actually a great point, and it almost comes to the fact that I want you to join my workshop and then realize that, which I think a lot of us know already, we are fluid regardless of what your purpose-driven brand is. And obviously,
Yeah.
if you are coming, it's because either you want to start one, or maybe you're already working within the space and you just want to create a bit of structure for yourself. And I
Mm,
find that when I am working with people that are into the space and especially embrace a more spiritual and fluid and intuitive business, there can
mm,
be a lot of pressure to try and be very structured, and that
mm.
doesn't always gel because we evolve in life. And I genuinely believe that throughout the year we also find our rhythms and we adjust with what the year is giving us.
Mm.
Spoiler alert, last 3 years has given us a lot of things that changed constantly,
Yeah.
so that's a great question, Babini, and I think is about looking at how can we build intention and structure based on, spoiler, 90-day cycles, so
Yeah.
throughout the year, which means we're going to look at a bit of what has happened, we're going to look a bit at that together, but also we're going to look at how can we build two more cycles of strong commitment, strong focus based on how you specifically work, based on how
Mm.
you can tap into your intuition and mix it with a bit of Virgo, I'm a Virgo, analytical and organizational skills that can help you create a roadmap, something you can follow, but that can adapt with you. Does that answer the question?
It really does. And I think it's so appropriate and relevant, like, especially for someone like me that people might know this from our community already. Like, I'm always doing something different, and especially like, bringing together everyone for the festivals. And it's such varied work and it's such diverse work. And for me, it's not just that I create a roadmap for January and then that's what happens the rest of the year. Like, I'm also, as many of the people who work professionally within our community will be experiencing as well. Like, a lot of our audience, they're empaths, they're intuitive, they're aware of what's happening astrologically, and then that has to impact how we're showing up in our work and in our businesses. So it's about, giving ourselves the opportunity to reevaluate that as we're going through. I think what you do is also very unique, that you have that as the almost like the key point of awareness, and then applying that to creating strategy for business and spiritual entrepreneurs, if that's the right phrase, right?
Yeah, yeah. And to be honest, when I think about my background, so currently I also run a school that teaches marketing,
Mm,
but I have a background of having worked and having created a community of wellness entrepreneurs. That was my
mm,
old business, so no longer. But
mm,
for 8 years, that's what I've done. And so I took that, as you say, the little toolkit that I have. And again, words of my students, but humble,
mm,
my ability to actually make some of the concepts that might feel a bit dry and not as sexy, fair enough,
mm,
fun and engaging, and make them approach to you so that you can create some systems that
mm,
work specifically to you. Whether is you're a person that experiences cycles, for example, and you want to include that cycle, your monthly cycle, into your business roadmap, you will feel you can do that. Maybe you're again tapping into astrology, you can do that. It's all
mm,
about actually having that reflection piece and also looking at energy. I generally believe that a lot of business as well, and a lot of wanting to give your gift to the world and
mm,
also making a living out of it is
mm,
about also the energy givers and the energy drainers
mm,
around your business, not just about your life. So again,
mm,
that's where you kind of combine the analytical, the more specific things, but also some of that more energy driven aspects of any kind of business. And that's what I want us to do together in a fun way. It's a bit of homework, but a lot of
Yeah,
fun, I promise.
so it's so good and so important, and I'm sure that it resonates with so many people in our community. Like you said, whether they're already working professionally in that space or maybe just thinking about it, because I know a lot of our audience and community are thinking of making that leap to working in wellness fully, or working within, spiritual space more fully. So you've mentioned that, those sort of two groups of people a little bit for the workshop. Now, when they come to the workshop, are we actually going to be creating plans? Are we actually going to be looking at our own things and creating that plan? Or is it more about giving us the toolkit so we can do it in our own time?
I like to be able to be quite actionable. I like to give you, as you're coming into the workshop, something you can get away with that is not just tools. I
Right.
genuinely believe that without action, that is really the magic. Like that's where then we can get that intention. So I would lie to you, and I never lie to you if I said that in 90 minutes we're gonna get a whole plan that is fully customized to you. But we're gonna get the starting building blocks so that
Mm,
then you feel you have that momentum. And that's where the magic
yeah,
happens. And that's what I want us to have together. So we are
yeah,
going to cover the toolkit as well, because then you know how to then progress it yourself.
yeah.
But I want to give you the key steps and the key, imagine it as little blocks for that momentum to be built so that you can start that audit and you can start that planning. And
Mm.
then after you've done it together, you can actually go and action it and do the final things to make it fully yours.
I love that. Super powerful. And I think everyone can already see, from seeing Fab's style, if you're not already familiar with her work, just how articulate she is and how clear she makes things. And I really know that this is going to be really jam-packed workshop where people get a lot of not just tools, but as you say, like the actual experience and the momentum to actually move ahead. So I think it's really exciting. Can you already begin to share a tip now that people may already begin to bring into their business or into their thinking for their business, if it's a future plan, that they can already implement before they join you for the workshop?
Yes, 1,000%. That would be a very simple thing that you can do with any goal. So, talking about momentum, because I know it gets us excited, I want you to write down as you're listening or watching, or maybe you can pause if you're replaying and you're like, I want to see this again. Fab, give me more.
Mhm.
So, rewatch it, go back to this, press pause, and write down a goal that you have. For now, it can be a scrappy goal, doesn't matter. We can always refine it together when you come to the workshop. But what I would love you to do is answer these 4 questions. Now I need to get them in my head as well. The first one is, what can I do? And you write down one thing. What can I do in the next hour to build momentum? And then you
Mm,
answer the following question. What can I do in the next day? What can I do in the next week? And what can I do in the next month? And I want you to write down one thing that you can do for this goal to build that momentum. That's what we call milestones. And this is really where the overwhelm of a big project or a big goal, not gold. Interesting. So you might write down a really big goal, which usually happens. We go big. And
mm,
the problem is there's that decision paralysis or that action paralysis, I call it, when you're
mm,
like, okay, this is huge. How am I going to get there in the next 6 months or even 3 months? So let's
mm,
break it down. What can you do? The one thing, just one thing you can bring momentum to in a day. What would that be if you had a week? What would you do? And then obviously a month. So, and I like to start with the next hour, which could literally be maybe, you know, looking at action steps or whatever that might be. So together we'll go a bit deeper into this. But even by
mm,
just doing this exercise, you can figure out 4 things that you can do to actually bring this into reality and then
mm,
give yourself a bit more of pace. That's what's really important. Pacing
mm,
ourselves is one of the things that we struggle with the most, and that's when we burn
mm,
out or we feel overwhelmed. So try
mm.
this. See how you can break out that goal based on these 4 questions in an hour, in a day, in a week, and in a month. How can you
Mm.
build that momentum?
I love that. Such a good one. And it's almost like 4 tips that people can, even though it's a building block of one. No, it's really useful, and it already got me thinking. And again, not just from the perspective of work or business, but from the perspective of even like things that we're passionate about that we don't maybe make time for, even if it's just momentum for the things that we wish we did more of in our own lives, which aren't business driven, or don't have that in mind. So really, really lovely. Thank you. And also I wanted you to share with everyone why it's so important, because, you know, yes, before you had your business that was bringing together, again, people that are working very much in the digital space, and what you're doing now when you're teaching this to all your community as well. So people might be thinking, but I know Fab does loads of really great stuff online, and that's what I engage with. Tell us what's really unique about them joining you in the room at the festival.
Well, okay, I can only speak for myself, but I've been a friend MBS, and I've been at MBS either speaking or attending for a lot of years,
Mm.
and in a lot of workshops, including my own. So I want to put it out there. What we do as presenters, as well as teachers, if you want to put the hat on, is we really, first of all, we hold the room, we hold the space. So whether it
Mm.
is more of a spiritual workshop, in my case, a bit more actionable, there's the space holding, but also there's the fact that, again, spoiler, I will also encourage you to find a way to then share and actually find a way to reflect with other people in the room. And that's really where the magic is. That's what, whenever people come to our workshops, whether they're online or live, that's the magic. And when
Yeah.
you are live in person, there's even more of that feeling of connection. So imagine being able to do that in a small group and actually get to meet other people, whether it's your friend or maybe you meet something new, and actually you get a fresh perspective. It will really help you getting unstuck on some of the things that we're going to cover together. And that in
Mm.
itself is something that you cannot replicate when you're not in the room.
Yeah, it's really true, and it's such a unique part of the festival as well, and being able to benefit from that. So, you know, everyone, do you want to let everyone know when your workshop is, so that they know when they can benefit from that, from all that
Amazing.
beautiful?
So we're going to be on the Monday the 29th of May. And Pavini can just kind of like, not like shake their head if I get it wrong, but I think I got it right. At 4 o'clock. So you can come
Yeah,
and join us on
absolutely.
Monday. Just to get all excited during the day. Maybe you get a bit of flow and juices, and then you're all ready, and you can get at 4 o'clock, right good time to get very focused and actionable with the workshop together.
So nice. Those of you that are joining us on YouTube and on Facebook, you'll see that there's the link scrolling through the screen. But also you can go to our website, go to Fab's links as well, and you'll be able to get the tickets for her workshop through that link there. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me and our community today. Really loved having you. And again, I think it's really obvious from everyone that will be watching, you know, following back and also watching live, that there's just so many pearls in what Fab says that you can instantly take away and begin to put into your life. So thank you for taking the time, and we can't wait to see you in May.
Same. I can't wait to see all of you. Yes, every single one of you that's watching.
See you soon. Bye.